What is up, DFS Nation? How you doing tonight? Big game. Fill it in tonight for the Showdown stream. Big game with the Chiefs and the Chargers. It should be an exciting game to watch. Draftkings is rolling out the old Millie Maker, so it's plenty of fun to go after. I'm going to break it down for you tonight. We're going to find some targets to go after. We'll go through both rosters and hopefully we'll make some money tonight. If you guys don't know me, at Win Daily, I'm Joel. I also go by Draftmaster Flex on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to find me there. But for the purpose of today, let's dive right into this game. I do think this, will probably be a high-scoring affair. I mean, we have two of the more high-powered offenses in the NFL. And the pricing for a showdown game with this many big-time playmakers, I think, is pretty reasonable, where you can really get a lot of the guys you want to play in, which the first thing that does to me is concerns me because that means I think there's going to be a lot of similar builds, a lot of overlap. So it's going to be tough to be unique and different. But let's dive into it and figure out how. For starters, the obvious, it's the quarterbacks, right? Mahomes and Herbert are both elite. Mahomes has been relatively disappointing for Mahomes standards this year, with him coming as by far really the highest priced player against a serviceable Chargers secondary. I think I'm going to go away from Mahomes tonight. His ownership, I'm sure, is going to be high, and he certainly could have a great night. But I think I'm gonna hope for maybe a few extra rushing touchdowns tonight out of KC from Edwards-Helaire, maybe even Gore, who kind of popped off a few big runs last week, who maybe is kind of peeking through as a really low-priced bargain play on the KC side. Let's see if we can find what price at. I think he's down here at the bottom around 1K. There he is. Yeah, exactly. So Derek Gore last week had 9 carries. The one thing here to notice is that he did break off a 51-yarder. So he really had, if you take away that run, he had 8 for basically 15 yards, which obviously won't get it done. But he also did have 2 receptions. So he's involved. He had another game where he had 50 yards to score, but I think that was a game when Edwards-Helaire wasn't playing. So the way you beat this Chargers team is on the ground. That's their weakness. I think for a showdown stream in a game like tonight, I think Gore is fair enough, just in a way to be different. We'll come back up, looking at some of the major players. I like obviously Tyreek Hill, but this Chargers secondary is tough. I think no one's gonna stop Tyreek Hill. That's just he's one of the best receivers in the league, but you can slow him down. And for Tyreek Hill to reach value in a slate like this, he needs to have over 102 scores. If he doesn't do that, he's not worth it. So with that thought process, I'm probably not going to go there either. So for me, I like Herbert. Of the 2 quarterbacks, I prefer Herbert tonight, considering you get almost $2,000 in savings. And KC, while their defense has been playing better as of late, they still aren't the best defense. So I think Herbert, we've seen, has been awesome, and he's only getting better. His pieces are playing. It looks like most of the guys are going to be available. So of the 2, I actually prefer Herbert at the discount to Mahomes. Now with Eckler, it looks like he's going to play tonight. Is expected to play. There is some concern of, will he get a full workload? Will they give some of the backups a couple of extra carries? That's what I'd be concerned about. He certainly has the upside, no doubt about it. The volume they give him the ball isn't exciting. I just have concerns that he's not going to get a full workload, and Eckler without getting a full workload in a slate like this is not something I want to look at. So I prefer the pass catchers on the Chargers side. I love Keenan Allen, and I like Mike Williams. Those are the 2 guys I'm really going to hammer in. And I also really like getting different with tight ends. Jared Cook, generally, I just don't like. I think he's overrated. People go to him. He's a big guy, so he can catch a touchdown for sure. A guy I really like as a sneaky showdown play you can maybe find lower ownership on is Parham. Now Parham's price is going to come. He's the second tight end, but he plays. He's not the second tight end that might be able to play 5 snaps. He's on the field. Let's see, Donald Parham. He's going to come in at 3,600, which is a fair price for him. And if we look at the game long, he's getting 2 targets, 4 targets, 1 target, 5 targets. He catches a touchdown. There's your cheap value for the slate. So $2,400. It's certainly. I'm sorry, I misspoke because I have him in the captain spot. He's 2,400, which is certainly a reasonable price here. And let's not forget, KC's not very good at covering tight ends. So I think there is a spot here for him to have a good game. He's one of the sleeper plays I would like from the pass catching perspective. My favorite play, though, on the KC side is going to be Kelsey. Kelsey coming in a super discounted ownership. He hasn't been good the last 2 weeks, but last 2 weeks he had 3 catches each for 27 yards, which for Kelsey standards is terrible. However, it's Travis Kelsey. This isn't a guy that had a couple good games. This is the best tight end in the league by a lot. I don't think he's lost his talent. This isn't Space Jam, right? His skills aren't gone. The little aliens from Warner Brothers didn't come and steal his talents. I think he was slow the last couple of games, and this just tells me Travis Kelsey is due. And he couldn't have asked for a better matchup to break out of this slump. The Chargers almost have like a funnel where they have good corners that cover receivers, and you have to throw to the tight end over the middle. So this is the team for tight ends. I love Kelsey. So Kelsey's going to be my highest owned probably player this tonight. I think he's due for a bounce back game, and this is the perfect spot for him to do it. And I also love looking at thank you, Jeff. Jeff, welcome to the show. Yes, he had 104 yards last time they met. This is a good spot for Kelsey. This is just a really good spot. So I think he's the one you definitely want to look to. I also really like Edwards-Helaire. Gore obviously is the way we get different. We talked about already. Edwards-Helaire is going to be the primary back. The way you beat this Chargers team is on the run. They're 31st against rushing defense in the league. Now, the one thing is they haven't given him a full workload. He is still kind of splitting carries, so that is something to be conscious of. But he's just very involved. I mean, he's getting targets. He's getting the ball. And they're going to have to establish a bit of a run game on this Chargers team to make sure that these defensive linemen aren't able to just tee off on Mahomes. So I think, your value can be found on this KC side because Kelsey and Helaire are priced down. And then I like going for the passing game on the Chargers. Now, if you want to go down, some of these more budget guys, I think Jared Cook's overpriced here. He's got a $5,400 price tag. But, listen, he gets 5 targets at most. And what has he done? At most 29 yards. Yeah, he'll get you a score, which gets you 10 points. But it is a good matchup for him, this KC team. But I have a hard time putting my faith in Cook. Goyton might be buffed up a little bit because he had a good week in Cincinnati, and then last week they were missing Allen, so he got more targets. He probably won't be on the field as much. I think Goyton's going to be probably a little bit more popular than I would like. He does have the big play ability if you want to take a shot on him, but I don't love the Goytman look. I don't think Hardman's been involved enough to seriously consider. If you want to play a couple of the kickers, I think it'll be a high-scoring game. I think which is bad for kickers. I think if you're going to play a kicker, you want them in a low-scoring game. But, if you're struggling for value, I can certainly understand that. The guys I want to talk about, I think Byron Pringle, is a guy that is sneakily gets those 4 or 5 target games. He's one that could pop if you want to be different. Like I said, I like Parham. Another thing to consider here is also the Chargers running backs. If Eckler is limited or they're kind of giving more carries to the secondary guys, Justin Jackson certainly in play, having got 9 carries last week. Decent game, 4 yards per carry. He also had a reception. And they also like to get Joshua Kelly involved, who last week had 10 carries. Again, 3 yards carry. Neither one great, but they're involved. One of them scores a touchdown. At these really, really, look, at $800, you get Joshua Kelly. He gets in the end zone. That is some real savings, and that will be your value play, where you can kind of fill in with a lot of these big-time playmakers, whether it's the quarterbacks or receivers on either team, honestly. So these are some of the value plays that you might want to consider down here. Um, that's it. I mean, it's pretty filtered. You know who you're going after, right? Like you want to cram in 3 to 5 of those big names up top that we mentioned, and then you find 1 or 2 of these value plays you want to take a shot on that might reach value. And then the biggest thing, if you're going after that milli maker, is how can you build a roster unique enough that you won't be split in the pot? And that's what I'm thinking about. But I think we know who we want to funnel our plays toward. The plays seem fairly obvious, right? Which is what it can be looked at as good or bad, depends on the style you're playing. But either way, it's going to be a fun game. Tune in. It should be a shootout. A lot of good action tonight. Come back in Discord, Win Daily Discord. Let me know how you guys did. I look forward to seeing the green screens. Good luck tonight, and talk to you soon.